What is up, guys? Welcome back to TWE Charts. All right, let's get to it. AMC down quite a bit, man. Down quite a bit since the split, since the ape merge back. It's been a little bit, and we're here to update the chart, see what we got going on. I've got quite a bit to talk about, but first thing is first, make sure you guys subscribe if you want to get updates when I go live. Hit that notification bell, and let's get to it. All right, so AMC, we're currently trading at 718. Okay, guys, I want to show you why this is a crazy situation going on right now. Okay, let's pull up the cycle. We have an inverse point of interest for those that know how the cycle functions and works. Right at the beginning, going into the blue portion, we have what is a point of interest because we tend to have volatility on those on that range, that small 13-day window. And here we had a series of volatility events. So we had this one here, which is an error in the cycle. It's the first one that got completely canceled out. So that's how I know it's an error, because the cycle goes back on track. Okay, so this is how the fast Fourier transform works. It picks up these spikes, and then you try and smooth the chart out again. So it's just the way the algorithm is functioning here. So it comes back in, and then we have the inverse effect here. So we have the complete opposite. This has only happened twice on the entire chart. Happened back here in December of 2021. And then we also have it happening, well, on the original cycle, right, the dump here. So what do we got going on now? Because AMC, even though the stock is not diluted, the shareholder was. So think about it, this being an inverse squeeze. Okay, the amount it goes down, so from the top here, let's do 77 all the way down to where it's trading at now, 7. That's a 90%. That's 90% downside. But it's not 90. That doesn't equate to a 90% move to the upside, right? All you got to do is take the opposite here. If we were to run back to 77, that's almost 1,000% move. So you got to look at this as a potential, an opportunity here, because yes, the price has gone down quite a bit, and it sucks. But when stocks come down this way, especially being shorted for over 2 years now, just the way the algorithm is functioning, it does this with many stocks. I have fractals here that I want to pull up. Some of them are fractals, some of them are one-to-one patterns that we found using the pattern scanner. So I'm going to pull these up and show you the correlation between the two, because I think it's very relevant here. And we have to keep on the table here, the fundamental part is important when it comes down to stocks that are shorted down to the dollar range. That's very important. AMC is not there. And I'm starting to think now why we did the reverse split in the first place. There's a couple of outcomes here. The reverse split is not bullish, and I've said this before. Reverse splits are very bearish, especially when you're looking at stocks that go into the dollar range. So AMC, a bit different, right? Because we had the split and ape separately from each other. So one day we have the split, and the next day we have the merge back with ape. So that's important here, because the stock was trading at around $4, but AMC, when it was separate to it, we have it go to 20, and then ape comes back and merges, does the 1 for 10, and then AMC is basically trading around the same range because, well, there's a lot going on in the chart here. So that's why things were a bit just misrepresented. And I think a lot that happened here on the way down, the stock was shorted and shorted and shorted, and now people think, well, AMC's back at 7, right? But the reality is that this thing went from basically $800, all the way down to 7. So 777 was the peak. If you remove the split and you remove the conversion that happened in August of 2022 with ape, it went from 77 down to 7, which is crazy. That's that is basically 99% down. So when you look at the stock, right, at some point it has to come back up, right? Especially if the fundamentals are good. And right now, AMC does not seem to be struggling. Like everything that's been going on right here is just it's just fear, man. Fear, and these shorts taking that opportunity to keep bringing the stock back down. So we have catalyst coming back up, right, into the cycle here. October time, Taylor Swift, right? Taylor Swift, we have that's a major catalyst because what she's been selling out shows breaking records here. So imagine what that's going to do here to the box office. When we get those reports back, I think that's going to be a record-breaking thing. There's going to be new opportunities here for artists to do this. So it's going to be like a trend change, in my opinion, and it lines up with the cycles. So here's the next point of interest in October, and we're going to pull up the patterns that back this up, right? There's some patterns that back this up. All right. So first couple of patterns here. The one that is my favorite right now is Tilray. This is a 1-to-1 pattern. Okay, and this happened in February of 2021. Right here. And then all of this that you're looking at here is way before. So this is like 2018. So this is the chart I want to track here and pull because the levels are the same. And I think the events in which the patterns here are playing out, I pulled this up on the live stream before, but this little section here is important to track because that is, I think, where the cycle is currently at. And if you track the events here, look at where this thing runs up. It runs up in October, going into November, which is the cycle. So tracking this one, Tilray, important, right? We also have Lucid, another one. We have NVAX. We have ARPA, which is just calling for a POI. This is just a volatility zone. And then we have Overstock, right? Overstock we've been tracking here as well. And this one looks really good to me. I really like this setup for the POI. But for something like this to happen, a lot has to be right and play right for AMC. We're talking like this is just a parabolic move to the upside. Considering the amount of shorts in on this, we do have a lower float right now, even with the shares. For the offering, we still have a very low float, so that's not an issue. Lower float stocks tend to run a lot quicker. That's why we're not seeing barcoding happening. Right? Anything above the $1 billion range, which we were in before, that it makes the stock 10 times harder to run versus one that has a lower float. So bid and ask has a good spread right now. That's why you're starting to see like normal price action take place, and not the barcoding that we're used to and we have been used to for over a year. So Overstock looks good as well. And I want to talk about this bounce here because now with the events that we have, AMC is in a vulnerable spot, right? We can very easily go down into the $5 range now that we are trading at these levels. So I think what these guys are going to do here is they're going to do it very quickly. But going into next week, this is the cycle again. We're coming into the red portion. So remember that this is typically where we see downside, but if the cycle starts to reverse, which I think is going to happen, we should see some upside going into the last week of September. So right now we're just going to trade sideways. Most likely you're going to see some days where AMC is up 20%, down 30, down, back and forth, but it's very, very common for stocks like this that are being shorted. This is a shorting stage on AMC to do something like this. So when the opportunity comes in, though, is when you see a massive red volume candle, typically, and we are seeing that right now, right? But the stock keeps going down. So going into that $5 to $3 range is something to track here. I know it's pretty steep, but guys, considering where we're at now, okay, a couple of examples of this, right? Carvana, you can track it the same way because of the split. This thing went from $3.75 to $3. So same thing, basically 100% down. Now it's trading at 60. Okay, we also have Upstart. right? This thing goes from 400 down to 9, and then all the way back up to 70. Okay, we have AI. Okay, all of these stocks that are going first, these are first on the cycle. This thing is up 200, goes down to 10, and then all the way back up to 50. And there's many, many more stocks that are doing this right now. Roku, right? Almost in like similar sectors, right? Roku, streaming service, we have 500 all the way down to about 36, and now it's trading at $100. So looking at all this stuff, dude, is key here. Yeah, AMC has been down for the last 2.5 years. Okay, but with the split, I mean, it's putting things to perspective a little bit more, right? We have 400 all the way down to 7 right now. And this is on TradingView's chart. The original chart should have the $770 range, which is the high that AMC had in June. It doesn't show it on this chart, but if you go on TOS, you'll see it on there. And there's many other charts that show that, the original value. So with that, not that we can't go all the way back up there, but it is going to take some time. I think that in the short term, we can definitely at least see the $30 range to complete and come up to the previous levels that we're tracking right now. You can see this with the spots indicator, right? We have this right here on the weekly chart. Okay, this line right here is being rejected every single time that we come up to it. And if you draw the projections, keep drawing the projections, this is trading right around the $40 range. So from these levels, I mean, that's like a 500-600% move. And we're at all-time lows again, right? We're trading at all-time lows. Changes indicator is showing that right here, trading below the 70% range. That's the ultimate low, guys. We haven't seen these levels ever. So at some point, yeah, this is going to turn around, and it's going to be quick. It's going to be fast. And, dude, I'm ready for it. So I'm going to keep updating, man, and hope the charts do their thing soon. All right? One more thing. So we got twecharts.com. You're going to have all the indicators there, guys. I have been working on a new one. This one's pretty cool. It's an option calculator. Okay, and here's a little example. I want to show you guys how this works. But TradingView doesn't have an option calculator. So this thing is pretty freaking awesome because all you got to do is find the implied volatility because TradingView does not provide that. And with that, you're basically going to have the exact same results that you would for any option chain that you're tracking. So right now, we have the option chain. I'm just picking a random strike. Not financial advice, guys. It's just an example. But if, say, I'm looking at the $20 strike for the expiration date, December 15th, I pick a quantity, okay? Implied volatility is at 144, and then you pick your custom target. So I'm going to pick one October 27th, right? Say that the POI is active, it plays out, and we see that range, right? Well, this is calculating how much money you gross in if implied volatility is at the same range, which is unlikely because if the price does that, typically implied volatility is going to go up depending on how quickly the price goes up. So this is just an average based on the current volatility, and then you pick your exit date, and it calculates everything here for you. So this is just an example of one of the indicators. You do get changes, you get spots. There's another one called Volt. But all this stuff is on twecharts.com with more things on there for you guys. So check it out and give me some feedback, all right? All right, see you guys on the next stream. Bye-bye.